Hello there and welcome back to Data Analysis in Excel. In this video, we're going to look at some very useful Excel tools that can make your work easy to read, easy to debug, easy to audit, to find out what exactly is going on and to make your formulas and your building your model very easy. Right? So the first tool we're going to look at is named ranges. Well, what does named ranges mean? A named range is basically you giving a smart, relatable name to a cell or a group of cells in Excel. And there are many ways of creating names. We're going to look at various look of creating names, in this video. And we're going to look at why it's important. So why is it important? Let's take an example here. What's going on here? We have quantity and we have unit price, unit cost, right? So if I want to calculate revenue, I have to take equals, take the quantity, and then multiply by what did this is cell B12. That is what is in B12, right? So of course I need to copy this formula down, so I need to press F4 to lock it, control enter, and I click here and I drag. So as you can see, if I come here, I can see that this is saying B12, B21 times B12, B21, which is this cell, times B12. But I can make this smarter by saying take this value and multiply it by unit price or something, right? So I can give this cell a name called unit price. Let me delete this. How do you give cells a name? Well, many ways of doing that. You can select the cell and just type in the name into the name box here. So I've selected the cell for the unit price value and I type unit. Now I cannot type unit space price. That's not going to work. If I press enter, it's going to give me an error. So Excel doesn't allow you to put names that have spaces or that start with a space or a number. So you can use an underscore. So I can type unit underscore, that is shift minus unit underscore price, and I press enter. So this cell now is called unit price. Look at the name box. If I select other cells, you can see that the cell is saying G15. If I come here, this is B13. But once I come to this cell, the name of this cell is unit price. So if I come here and say equals this value times, I can start typing unit, and I'm going to see it here. I can down, tab. And watch this. As soon as I type unit price, you see that Excel highlights this cell. Notice that by default, named ranges come with absolute referencing. So I don't need to lock any cell again. I just press Control Enter and I can click and drag down and I can double click here and what do I see here? B12 times unit price. Okay, press Escape. Now I can do the same thing for unit cost, which is this quantity times unit cost. But instead of going to the name bar, I can select the cell, go to formulas. Under formula, there's something called name manager. This shows you a list of all the names I've created. You can see that I've created unit price and the value there is 150. The range is, let me expand this. So the range is under useful Excel tools, cell B12. That is where unit price is, right? So I can create a new name. Like, of course, I can edit this. I can change the range from here. I can do all sorts of things. But let me just create a new name. And because Excel is smart, it knows that my cursor, I selected this 90 first. And just beside it, there's a text called unit cost. So Excel assumes for me that that's the name I want to give it, which is fine. Of course, I can change the name to anything I want. If I can even come here and say I don't want B13 again, I want some other cell, But this has been configured fine, so I can press OK. And here I have two named ranges. One is unit price. I can click here and it shows me where it is. This is unit cost. I can click here and it shows me where that is as well. Let me close this. So if I come here, select equals this times, and I select this value. This gives me B13. Okay, I can select this and say times units, and I can see unit cost there. Once I tab it, I can see that it's selecting that cell. Control enter, right? Of course, I can select all these and alt equals, and that puts in the totals. Okay, here's another example. We have unit transport, unit commission, right? Another way of doing it, which is the way I prefer to use, is to select a range. You can create names from a column as long as you have just the column and the data you need. So if I select this range like this, I can go to formulas and there is a button called select create from selection. Because I've selected this, if I click on create from selection, it asks me, do you want to create names from the top row? No. Or from the left column? Excel is smart. He knows that a name cannot be a number, so this 10 cannot be a name. But he knows that there's text here, right? So it is smart. It's asking me, do I want to create names from the values in the left column? I say that's what I want to do, so I can click OK. So I can see this is 10, this is 15. And I can see here, this is commission, this is unit transport. Right now, let's say that this is commission, but this is commission here. I want this to say unit commission instead of commission. How do I edit it? Well, that's pretty easy. I go to formula, under name manager, I click, and I can see this commission. All I need to do is to click edit or to double click, and I can change the name and come here and type unit, right, underscore commission, and I type OK, and I can see now it's unit commission. So I have unit cost price, unit selling price, unit transport, and unit commission. I can click close. So for me, I can do the same analysis and say, take the quantity, right, and multiply by unit. Once I type unit, I can see a list of all the unit commission, unit cost, unit price, and this. Now, I know that I'm going to keep using this B31, and then I'm going to keep typing unit. So watch this. I can select this, right, and let me just select this and copy. Come back here and type an underscore shift this, and I can select, okay, for revenue I need to multiply by unit price. So I double click. So B13 times unit price, I press tab, then equals Control V, right? Because I copied it, and it's the same B13 times unit, and I say, okay, this time I want unit cost, tab, equals Control V. This time I want unit transport, tab, equals Control V, and this time I want unit commission, tab, Control Enter. And just like that, I can see that the formula here is saying B13 times unit price, unit cost times unit price, and so on and so forth, right? And I can select all this. Like, let me just come down and say total profit is going to be revenue minus the sum of all these numbers, and I can close my bracket. We discussed this. Control Enter, right? So I have my revenue, my product cost, my transport, my commission. If I wanted, I could actually create names for all these, right? Just use them in my formulas. But you need to be careful with names. Too many names and your workbook becomes unnecessarily heavy and buggy, right? So I would advise that you use names, scarcely, right? Something like current month number, or the current week. You can use a name for that so that you can use it again and again and again. The beautiful thing is that if I create a new sheet or I go to another sheet, if I type equals units, I still have all the names there. So these names are useful across the workbook, across all the sheets in the workbook, right? So let me delete this and come back here. Okay, so I can select this, click and drag, and all those formulas come down. Select this range, alt equals, and I can see that this is not formatted, so I can either right click and go to format cells, or I press Control 1. Control 1 brings out the format cells dialog box, and I want to format it as a number, 2 decimal places. I want to use the thousand separator, and I can press OK, and that's looking much better. All right, so we did this. I just put this here as a class divided by old value minus 1. So I can so my profit goal is going to be this divided by this, then minus 1. Control Enter. And this is formatted as a decimal. I want it to be formatted as a percentage. I can either come to home and click on percentage here, or I can Control 1 and put it as a percentage here, specify decimal places. But because I love shortcuts, I can use Control Shift 5. I'm holding Control Shift and 5. That puts in the percentage format. You can click and drag, and that is all. So I'll see you in the next class. Thank you for watching.